to teach you a technique called concept checking. See, when you teach your friend a new concept, be it a new word, a sentence, or a phrase, you want to verify that your friend understands that concept before you move on with the lesson. You don't want them to be confused. And the normal way that most people think to do that after they present a new idea is to say, okay, got it? Do you understand? Unfortunately, the answer we're going to get to these questions is yes. Isn't that what we want? No, because the answer doesn't actually show anything. If I say, okay, and do you understand? Yes, and they say yes, the answer yes could be, yes, I understand everything. Or, yes, I understand some of what you said. Or, yes, I don't understand anything, but I'm never going to tell you that because it's too shameful to admit that I'm stupid and I didn't get it. Or I don't want to shame you by saying you were not a good teacher and you didn't explain it well. Remember, the concept of shaming and honor is really, really important in many cultures. They want to preserve their own and preserve yours. So, a better way to check for understanding is to ask a couple of questions that allow your friend to demonstrate if she or he understands. We call these concept checking questions, CCQs. Let me give you an example. Say you want to teach the word closet, and you know that closet could be confused with cupboard. So you could ask a series of 4 questions. Number 1, do you put food or clothes in a closet? Food, no. Clothes, they get the answer. Number 2, what room is the closet in? Probably your bedroom. Next one, you could show a picture of a closet and ask, is this a closet? Show a picture of a cupboard. Is this a closet? No. You verify that they understand the difference between cupboard and closet just by asking a few questions. This is really important to ask concept checking questions for really tricky or abstract concepts. Take the word fade. You know, that's something that fades with the light. How do you explain it? It just became white? Well, not really. It's more complicated. So you can ask us a set of questions for these more complicated ideas. For example, 1, if something fades, does it become more or less clear? When it fades, an image fades, it becomes less clear. 2, does it usually happen quickly or slowly? Slowly. Fades is something that happens slowly. Can colors in clothes fade? Yes, they can. Do clothing designers and do people like colors that fade? Not usually. They want them to stay the same. So do you see how we took an abstract concept like fade and asked some questions to make sure that we understand all the nuances? Well, those are some examples. Let me give you some practical techniques that you can use. Number 1 is to ask a series of yes-no questions. So yes-no questions. You ask the questions, the answer is simply yes or no. Say I want to teach the concept of sunglasses. All right. I could show the sunglasses and say, are these sunglasses? Yes. Are these sunglasses? No. Are these sunglasses? No. They're glasses, drinking glasses. Do you wear sunglasses inside or outside? Outside. Okay. Now I know the difference between sunglasses and glasses and drinking glasses. So those were yes/no questions. You could also ask questions that focus on the difference between 2 similar things. For example, a cucumber and a zucchini. It's a little bit large. It grew in my garden. Often they're very similar. You want to make sure that the students understand the differences between them. This is easy because they look a little different, but I could ask the same question for both. I could say, do you cook this? No. Do you cook this? Yes. Do you eat this in salad? Oh, yes. Do you eat this in salad? Maybe not. So it's especially important to check things that are similar. You want to make sure they can differentiate between them. It's also good, number 3, ask questions when the same thing comes in different sizes or color. For example, you teach the word spoon. Is this a spoon? Yes. Is this a spoon? Yes. It's a big one, it's a small one, it's a spoon. Is this a spoon? Oh, yes, it's also a spoon. A wooden spoon. Spoon, spoon, spoon. Wooden spoon. Is this a spoon? Yes, it has holes. It's still a spoon. Yes, it's a spoon. Is this a spoon? No, fork. So when you have something that comes in multiple versions, it's good for them to understand that they can come in different colors and shapes, but they're all still the same thing. Number 4, it's good to ask questions when you have a category that applies to many things. Maybe you want to teach the word female. And if you just point to a picture of a teenage girl, they might think it meant teenager. If you point to a picture of a baby girl, they might think it means girl. If it's an old woman, you might think it means woman. So what you could do is you find a picture of multiple women of all different types, and then you ask them questions. Is this a woman? Is this a woman? Is this a woman? So that they can is this female, 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 so they can understand. So for example, I have a little picture here. Is this female? Is this female? Is this female? Yes, female, all female. And then I can just clarify, is this female? No, not female. All right, these are all female. So I could ask questions, make sure that they understand that category applies to more than just one specific thing. And then you can always just say, are you female? Is your father female? Just to check to make sure they're really understanding that concept with familiar things about their own life. Another way to do it is to demonstrate an action and say yes or no. For example, I could actually stand up. Is this stand up? Yes. Is this stand up? All right, just make sure that they can understand and verify what you're doing. You can do the same when you make an error, a pronunciation error, for example, and ask them to say if it's good or bad. So if I think of the word potato, I say potato, good? Potato, no. Potato, no. Potato, yes. Potata, no. Potata, no. Potato, yes. So you say it a couple times in different ways until they're like, they start landing on the correct one again and again. And you know that they heard and understood potato. We're not going to get to potato. Anyway. Finally, you can also concept checked sentences, even grammatical sentences when you want to just kind of highlight a little bit of grammar. For example, I could say, I went to Los Angeles last year. Let me ask 3 questions. Where did I go? Los Angeles. Am I in Los Angeles now? No. Was I in Los Angeles last year? Yes. So just checking that it's now and not last year, making sure that grammar point, that past tense was understood. A couple warnings here. There's a couple ways to do this that are not so well. Don't use any new or hard language when you're concept checking. For example, if I want to talk about a lion, what animal roars, growls, has a mane, is king of the jungle? You're going to have to teach roars and growls and mane and this concept, king of the jungle. It may not be something that's used in every country. Don't use new ideas and concepts in your question. Make your questions really simple. That's why yes, no questions and simple type of questions work well. And then also don't use the target language as the answer to the concept questions. So for example, if you have a tomato, don't ask 3 questions where the answer is all tomato. What's this? What am I holding? What vegetable is red? They're going to say tomato, 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 but they may never differentiate it between a green tomato, a red tomato, a cherry tomato. That's not the concept. You don't just give them that answer. It's like in Sunday school, if you ever grew up, the answer to every question was Jesus. It just was. It doesn't mean that you understood anything about it, but really having that same answer doesn't prove they understood it. It doesn't really demonstrate understanding. To end, let me leave you with 3 tips about concept checking questions. First, it's good to plan some questions in advance for concepts you know might be tricky. Or you can just ask concept questions on the spot when you see that your friend looks puzzled and you can tell they're not quite getting it. Second, you can ask concept check questions at any time during the lesson. It's usually good to do it right after you present something new, before you move on. You don't want them to be moving on confused. You want them to be sure about it before you move on. You can also do it at the end, kind of as a review before you go on to another subject. And finally, you do not need to concept check everything. A banana is a banana is a banana. There's probably not much confusion there. So good luck in teaching, and be sure to use concept checking questions to help your friend demonstrate their understanding so that you can go on without confusing them and that they feel successful in learning. Good luck.